Hey everybody, Centerton Cards back again with my second installment today. Did shave up a little bit though. Was looking pretty scraggly earlier, and all this pandemic's got me growing the hair out, so it's good to be a little more human. So yeah, earlier today I talked about just kind of updates on the Topps Project 2020, kind of my thoughts on what's happening with the print runs and kind of the arc of the product and how it's going and just kind of a general kind of overview, I think, of where it is and where it's going to be. Who knows? I'm probably wrong. I am wrong a lot, so we'll see what happens, but still good stuff. But yeah, did generate a few questions today, so I'll talk about those. Got a couple from some of my followers today. Michael Kelly asked me about, he had a couple questions about which player set I thought would sell the highest and which artist set I think would sell the highest uh, outside of Trout. So I definitely think my gut says Griffey, just because of the kind of recent surge in that era of cards anyway. It seems to be the most collectible, I would think, of the 20 outside of Trout. A lot of the old guys like Koufax and Jackie, my favorites, will probably do well. And it also depends on the Japanese market, honestly, too, with Ichiro. Just wondering how much they would impact this, because I think he would have quite a following internationally. So I'm not sure how that would go. But again, my gut kind of says Griffey. I just think he's the most recent and well liked. McGwire has his following of people. So does Ricky Henderson. But I just think McGwire is still too close to the steroid level for some people, and I think Griffey just kind of had that that charisma when he came up. Which, funny story, I met him, which was great. I met him in a parking lot. He was really a jerk to me at the time. I was 14, so he was walking up player the player alley or player dugout, the player ramp from Angel Stadium as I was walking up with my family to go to the game, and he was same time and stopped him, asked him to sign my '89 Fleer, and he said no, he wasn't signing right then. So, but good story to finish it up. That game is the first and only time in Major League history that a father and son hit back-to-back home runs in the first inning, and I was on the left field line when that happened. The Mariners had just traded for his dad, and I think it was just the first week or something like that he was with the team. So that happened that night, and I was there. That was cool. But I do think his run is going to be second to Trout. But like I said, I'm probably wrong. And as far as artist, I just think Baller. I think Ben Baller has such a huge following outside of collecting that I just think his stuff's going to be the highest print run. It'll be the highest value. I think there's some better. I mean, personally, there's other artists that I like a little more, but his following is just so intense. Value-wise, though, you go to the first three or four, with the Ichiro, obviously the Baller being number one, the Jackie being two, Jackie Natural being two, which is my favorite card, and then with the Trout being there too, for the Ermsey Trout, which is insane. I just think that those earlier runs are going to really push the cost on these. And then as far as like the total, the other question was what I thought the total would be. At face value, it's $8,000. And that's just if they're all at $20 each. And if you look at the first 20, they're insane. They're already five figures for just the first 20. So when you look at the print runs, and the lowest print run, I think is one of the good ones. I know the Jackie is way down there too. That's as many as they're going to be, and that's going to really drive the price. I can see this easily being approaching 100K at some point because of the way that these prices are going. If you imagine, 400 of them, if they go for $100 a pop, that's 40K. So, and that's just at $100, and a lot of these are already well past that, and several are in four-figure territory already. I think I know the Ermsey Trout, and I know the Baller Ichiro, and the Jackie Naturals right behind, and I think I saw the Sandy Koufax Rochester also. So I think you're looking at probably, I mean, on the high end, probably in 75 range, something like that, probably 60 to 75 at the current rate. Like, I don't think that's going to be sustainable. I think we'll start seeing it come back down, and I think probably a more realistic value on the whole run will be in that 40 to 50, maybe, depending on how this runs. But definitely see it being, above 20 when it's done for resale. And I'm sure it'll be much, much higher depending on quality and how many of these are actually put together. And the art industry, too. I think that's a big factor we don't really know a lot about. We don't have a lot of data about that. So it's really up in the air, but I think like 75 to 80 is probably going to be, I think, the high end. I don't know. That's a good question, but we'll just have to see. On an $8,000 investment, basically. So that's a good return, I think. So other question I had was about, it's kind of the hot topic right now, and it's really a hot topic for me, with eBay sellers canceling these pre-orders, and even the aftermarket pre-orders, that cards that just haven't shipped yet, canceling those on their buyers, which I think is just, it's terrible business practice. It's not a good look. Like, you lose all credibility with your return customers or return buyers. I think names being shared on Twitter, on the Blowout forums, all these different places, you earned that reputation. Like, if you are that kind of buyer, or if you're that seller who is canceling these orders, you earn that reputation that is being spread, and that's just unfortunate that that's happening to buyers who really want their hands on this product. There's no reason, if they're so worried about that, don't pre-sell. Order what you want, hold on to it, and then sell it afterwards. But don't use your buyers as your vessel to maintain your inventory. That's a terrible business practice. That's just a terrible ethic thing to begin with. Like, that's completely wrong. And I'm absolutely not going to be one of those people. I understand the temptation of, you had this influx of inventory of, say, 100 cards that you sold for $17 each, right? Like I am. And all of a sudden, when they're actually in hand, they're going for $100 a pop. I understand the temptation, but that's a temptation you have to ignore. It's a wrong way to run your business. We're getting some hail and storming really bad outside, so hopefully I won't get cut off here. But yeah, don't do that, guys. Come on, if you are a seller, quit it. I just think it's crap. I'm gonna have to pause this. All right, back again. I had to jump off. We got some crazy hail and the storm hitting us right now, so jumped off for a second. But back to what I was saying, eBay sellers who are canceling orders, whether it's pre-orders or the pre-orders on cards that have already finished their run, they're not live anymore. It's just terrible business practice. Like, I know it's eBay, and you're not, you may not have a huge following or a big store or any of that, but it's not a good look. Like, that'll stay with you a while. And if your name gets circulated on any of these kind of platforms, Twitter, Blowout forums, whatever, it's a good way not to get, a sustained reputation or customers. And that's just not something I would risk at all. So feel safe if you bought for me. Things are coming to you at the price you pay. I'm not canceling. Unless you ask me, unless you're one of these people who are messaging me every 2 minutes on eBay saying, "Where's my card? It's not here yet." And it literally the auction ended 2 days ago, and obviously Topps has not even printed them yet. So quit that. Other question I got was the following: why maybe Bin Baller stuff has a larger print run and is selling a lot higher than Andrew Thiel's. I think it's just following, like, just looking at some of Thiel's. I think it's Thiel. I'm not entirely sure. I think looking at Thiel's social presence, it's very small, like, compared to Bin Baller's. Like, Bin Baller has 3 times as many followers. No, more than that. Sorry. Thiel has 8,200 followers on Instagram. He doesn't have a Twitter that I could find. So 8,200 followers on just Instagram. Bin Baller has 1.4 million. And that's a huge discrepancy, and I would imagine that following is pushing those sales. And his Twitter is over 260,000. So that following is huge. Like that social presence is a massive piece of it, and I think that's probably why Ben Baller's stuff is doing so well. It's got great work. I mean, his artwork is really, really great. Also, like it's every piece I've seen of his has been amazing. So props to Baller for turning out such amazing work. Seal stuff is great. I thought the Jeter was probably his best, uh, but yet still not hitting that threshold that Baller is. I don't know if he will. I really don't. But Baller just has such a larger following than Seal does. But and Baller's been shouting out these other artists too. So it's not you know it's not any fault of his. It just happens to be his following. So that's all I got tonight. I definitely appreciate you guys stopping by and checking me out. Hit that like and follow below and subscribe. That bell down there will let you know whenever one of these goes up or when I go live. So hit those or not, it's fine. Just kind of starting this out. But yeah, if you have more questions, I'll try to do these once a day. I'm also gonna do just a quick video each day, just to update everybody on current status on the Project 2020 orders that I have. I don't expect to see any until late next week at the earliest, if then. Just knowing they've just sent the print or the shipping notifications out for the Gibson Shore, right? And that was card 54, 55, something like that. And we're on, obviously 88 or 89. So I don't expect to see anything until next, late next week at the latest. But when they come in, we'll put it up. But in an everyday until then, I will put up a quick kind of touch base with everybody, hopefully to calm your nerves a bit. So if you've purchased from me on eBay, I hope you're subscribing and taking a look at these. Or if you've purchased from me on Twitter, I'm definitely more active on Twitter. Shoot me a message, shoot me a tag me and something. I'm glad to respond as soon as I can. In a couple weeks, it's gonna be harder for me to respond quickly, but right now I'm pretty available. So thanks again for coming by and watching. If you have any questions, shoot them to me, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.